video is going to be my TBR for the month of July. I have like a lot of books that I am looking forward to picking out to read this month. I actually already finished a book this month, so I'm just going to tell you guys the first book that I finished literally yesterday because today's July 2nd, and I finished Annabelle Monaghan's Same Time Next Summer, and I finished this last night. I started it on June 30th, and I finished it yesterday, so this already counts as a book finished for this month, so I'm just going to put it where my finished books are for the month, so that's just going to go right here. And before we start picking out a TBR for this month, I just wanted to say that I have to read It Happened One Summer from Tessa Bailey still. So this is 100% going on my TBR for July because I don't know why I kept on picking it out for May and June when I felt like I wasn't going to get to this until July because I feel like just the mood would be perfect to read this in July because I'm going to be reading again a ton of summer romances in July and August. I already started with Annabelle Monaghan's Same Time Last Summer, and I also read Nora Goes Off Script as my last book in June. But this is definitely 100% going on my TBR for this month, so that is just going right there. And then also, I should be finishing this book by this weekend. I am going to be continuing on with the Spanish Love Deception after I pick out one more book that I'm going to finish this week. But I think I'm probably going to finish this weekend. So that is just going to stay on my bedside table still because I'm still in the middle of that book. So the book that I'm currently reading right now, and then we will pick out the rest of these books. I think I'm going to just be reading the rest of the books I'm going to be reading physically. I don't think I'm going to be reading that many books on my Kindle at all this month unless I decide to read a thriller, like a summer thriller, because there is one on my list. But I just wanted to tell you what I'm currently reading right now because it just came out today, and today is Reckless Release Day by Lauren Roberts, and this is the second book in the Powerless trilogy, and I've been waiting for this book all year. A lot of people have been. So, of course, this was the only book that I was going to be reading on my Kindle and also in general in the beginning of July because, again, I wanted to finish Same Time Next Summer before this came out, and I started reading this a little bit last night. It did come out at 12 a.m., but I ended up being way too tired to stay up and read this. But I did read like 50 pages today already on my Kindle. So we will talk about that later. But now we're going to get into my physical TBR. So I'm mostly going to be reading from this section on my shelf. So we're just going to pick them out. So the very first one that I know I'm going to read, and I just want to finish reading all three of her books because I'm so obsessed with her writing. So the next book I'm going to read after Reckless is Annabelle Monaghan's Summer Romance, and this actually just came out in June. It came out like June 4th, and this is her newest book, and I'm 100% reading this because, again, I'm obsessed with her writing. Her books take like no time to read, so this is 100% going on my shelf. This one's probably just going to go right next to It Happened One Summer. I'm not going to say the premises of this book again. I'm probably just going to read this most likely right after Summer Romance or right after Spanish Love Deception. But we are definitely reading this month. I've been wanting to read Tessa Bailey all summer, and I just feel like her books are the perfect mood for the summertime. So it's just 100% going there. Sorry, I just need my water. Okay, so let's go through the rest of these. So I'm definitely going to get to all of Carly Fortune's books this month as well because these are like basically the only other summer romances that I own. So we're going to read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I just picked these up last month. I picked this one up at Barnes & Noble, but I did say I was going to read this last month and then I didn't end up getting to it because I think I read quite a lot of romances in June, but like I think I only read like 2 or 3 summer romances at the end of June, which was A Novel Love Story, And then I tried to read The Spanish Love Deception, but I stopped reading that so I could read a novel love story. And then I read Nora Goes Off Script in same time last summer, and then Reckless came out. So we're definitely reading this. And then I'm also definitely reading the second one, Meet Me at the Lake. I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about this one, but I still wanted to read her books in July and August. If I don't necessarily get to all 3 this month, if I start getting sick of romance, but honestly, I'm still in a romance mood. I really have been enjoying reading summer romances a lot lately, so I want to bang them out when I'm in the mood for them. And then we're probably gonna, in the second half of this month, I am going to be reading a series. So we're definitely putting this one up here. And then the last one is her most recent release, which is This Summer Will Be Different. I've actually heard a lot of good things about this one. They actually say this one is just as good as Every Summer After. I just heard mixed reviews about the second one, but a lot of people have seemed to like the third one a lot, so I'm definitely reading this one as well. That might be it for the summer romances. I did really want to read Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, but I think I might save that for the first week of August, and it might be just the first book that I read in August, because I don't necessarily have any new releases really in August to look forward to. There's only one at the end of July that I want to read, but we'll talk about that later. And then the other 2 romances that I would like to read is that I want to read Lynn Painter's Happily Never After. This is her newest release and her newest adult romance. I actually haven't read any of her adult romances yet, but for some reason this one really called to me. And this is only 270 something pages. I could probably read this in a day or 2 tops. So I was actually thinking about possibly just reading this one this weekend because it's so short, and then I'll just finish Spanish Love Deception and then go into the other summer romances up here next week. But I really want to read this at some point. I found this in the city actually for $10 because everywhere that I was finding this, I probably could have just ordered it on Amazon, but again, I found it used at the Strand bookstore in the city, and I'll talk about my experience there as I talk about this book, but I definitely want to read this month as well, so that's going to go here. And then the last romance that I really do want to read is My Roommate is a Vampire, because I think the second book of this one is coming out later this year. I think it comes out in October. It might be a Halloween release. But I definitely want to read the first one. This is by Jenna Levine. And I actually found this one at my local bookstore for $5. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm buying this. And I was so happy that I found it for so cheap. So I definitely picked this up, and we're definitely going to read that. And then I am going to... I might read all of the books that I want to read before my series, because I want to read a lot of physical books this month. I don't think I'm going to read a lot of Kindle books this month because, again, I have too many physical books to read. So far, I think that's 7. I'm probably going to pick out at least 12. Actually, more than 12. I'm probably going to pick out a good 15 or 16 physical books. So the next one... I really do want to get to some of my book of the months. I'm not necessarily going to read them in this order. I'm just taking them out so I can talk about them in my TBR. But I really have been dying to read A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. So I'm definitely going to be reading this month. This is going to be my romantasy pick for this month because I don't have any other romantasy books that I'm reading for this month or I'm intending to read. And I've heard a lot of positive reviews about this one. This is a newer release as well. This came out earlier this year, and this is the first book in the series. So I did put this book on my TBR in June, but I didn't end up getting to it. But I read Serpents of the Wings of Night and Ashes and of the Star-Cursed King. I always get the title wrong, but those were my romantasy picks and books for June. So I didn't end up getting to this, but I'm definitely going to be reading this in July. So I'm going to put this here. And then the next one, I really do want to read this Catherine Center book. I actually haven't read any of her books yet, and I really do want to get to one of her books this month. So this is Catherine Center's Hello Stranger. I've heard a lot of good things about her books, and I also picked this one up at my local bookstore for $14, so I got this cheaper in hardcover, and it is used, but it's in great condition, and it's such a short read as well. This is only like 300 pages, and I want to pick like short books for like weekend reads, because usually I work most weekends, and if I pick a short book to read, I usually finish them in like 2 days. So I'm definitely going to be getting to this as well. And then I also am waiting for another book of the month add-on that I really do want to read this month as well, and it's called The Ministry of Time. And that one has also been sitting on, I mean, I've been wanting to read that book for like 2 months now, but I was waiting to get it in book of the month. Because now I need to read my books of the month. So I do want to read that book as well. But I'm also going to add this book just in case. I'm going to be adding a lot of books. Maybe I shouldn't add that book yet. Because I want to add this series and another book that I have to read. So I think I'm going to read Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayrer. This has been sitting on my shelf for forever, and I'm finally going to be reading this month. I have to read this month, and also like I am really in the mood to read this at this point. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun time, and also this is supposed to be turned into a Netflix series, so I'm really, really excited to read this. So this is going right here because I have to read that because, again, it's been sitting on my shelf. And then watch, I probably will only get to these books and then read everything on my Kindle after that. But, you know, we gotta commit some goals to myself, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I think the last physical books I'm going to be reading are the Magnolia Park series by Jessa Hastings. So I actually found this first one at my local bookstore I think I got this for $3. So originally I was going to be reading all of these on my Kindle, but honestly, like, the first book is like 400 pages, but I feel like these just fly by. Like the text is not really that big, and this is not that thick of a book, so we're definitely going to be reading this one. And then Daisy Hates is the second one, and I actually got these next 3 books at Barnes & Noble because I was trying to see if I could find them at my local bookstore, but they only had the first and the 5th one there, so at least I got those for a pretty cheap price. So the second one is Daisy Hates. And then we have Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. And then we have the great Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. And then the last one is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. So I'm definitely going to be reading these in July because I was actually going to be saving these for my birthday month, but I'm like, no, I'm dying to read this series. So, and this was the 5th book that I found at my local bookstore, and I think this one was only $5. So I ended up buying the 1st and the 5th book, and then I was like, well, I don't really just want to own these 2 without owning the other ones, so I ended up buying the other 3 at Barnes & Noble. So I think that is going to be it. That is a really big chunk of my TBR shelf up here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is 15 books. I think I'm just going to pick out one more because this book is super short and I've been wanting to get to this. So I am going to put The Wishing Game on here. I don't think I'm going to get to this until the end of the month. So this is by Meg Schaefer, but I kind of want to read this book before I get my next book of the month. But I also have the Ministry of Time. We're still going to put it on the shelf because I'm also going to put the Ministry of Time here. We're gonna see if we can work through them, okay? I gotta get through the books that I actually own. So maybe if I put them here, it'll inspire me to actually read them, and then we can fill up this shelf with more unread books that I'm gonna get to next month. So yeah, we're gonna put this here because the book of the month that I picked for July is actually her new release. So I would like to probably read that in August. So I would like to read this first because this one was a big seller, like a New York Times bestseller and all of that. I'm pretty sure. I just knew it was a big Amazon seller, so I felt good about that. It's a lot of books, but I mean, I've been getting through like 16 to 17 books. I mean, at least 15 to 16 books per month. So that's basically how many I picked out. So yeah. I feel good about that, and then we'll fill up this shelf at the end of the video, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So let's just go into the books that I'm going to be reading. Let's read about Reckless first. Again, I think that's the only Kindle read that I have that is on my list at the current moment. So this one says, the kingdom of Ilya is in turmoil. After surviving the purging trials, ordinary-born Peyton Gray has killed the king and kick-started a resistance throughout the land. Now she's running from the one person she had wanted to run to. Kai Azir is now Ilya's enforcer, loyal to his brother Kit, the new king. He has vowed to find Peyton and bring her to justice. So I'm super excited. I've been reading it today, and it's just so good so far. And then I also had to finish the Spanish Love Deception, so we have a lot of books to read this month, but definitely 100% reading Anna Monaghan's Summer Romance. I'm so excited to read this. Her books are just so easy to read, and I got through her books so fast. I read them just this weekend, Friday through Monday. I finished both of the books. So this one, again, is a new release, and I'm really excited to start the month off with 2 new releases. And this one says, benefits of a summer romance. It's always fun, always brief, and no one gets their heart broken. Yeah, right. Allie Morris is a professional organizer whose own life is a mess. Her mom died 2 years ago, and then her husband left, and she hasn't worn pants with a zipper in longer than she cares to remember. No one is more surprised than Allie when the first time she takes off her wedding ring and puts on pants with hardware, overalls count, right? She meets someone, or rather her dog claims a man for her by peeing on him. Oh my god, I can't wait to read this. Ethan smiles at Allie like her pants are just right, like he likes what he sees. He looks at her like she's a younger, braver version of herself. The last thing newly single mom Allie needs is to make her life messier, but there's no harm in a little summer romance, is there? I can't wait to read this. It's kind of like a combo of Nora Goes Off script and Same Time Last Summer kind of mixed together. I just love her writing so much. So I'm definitely going to read every single book that she comes out with. And then, of course, It Happened One Summer. I am not reading the synopsis of this again, but we are definitely reading this at least by next week. And then Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Super excited for this one. It says 6 summers to fall in love. 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. They say you can never go home again, and for Persephone Fraser, ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of spending glittering summers on the lake shore of her childhood, she stays home in a stylish apartment in the city, keeping everyone in a safe distance from her heart, until she receives the call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and into the orbit of Sam Florek. Oh my god, can I read? The man she never thought she'd have to live without. So super excited for that one. And of course I'm going to read the second one. It's not really a series, but people recommend that you read them in this order. But they're not really like a series. So this one says, sorry, I just need a little bit more water. It's hot today, so So this says Fern Brookbanks has arrived. Fern Brookbanks has wasted far too much of her adult life thinking about Will Baxter. She spent just 24 hours in her early 20s with the aggravatingly attractive and idealistic artist, a chance encounter that spiraled into a day-long adventure in the city. The timing was wrong, but their connection was undeniable. They shared every secret, every dream, and made a pact to meet again 1 year later. Fern showed up, Will didn't. So I'm really excited for these two. Siri, why are you ruining my life right now? Okay. Siri was picking up my voice for some reason. And then I just want to read these two just to get to this one, to be honest, because I'm the most excited for this one. And this is This Summer Will Be Different. And it says, this summer they'll keep their promise. This summer they won't give into temptation. This summer will be different. Wow, oh my God. It's the title of the book. Lucy is a tourist vacationing at a beach house on Prince Edward Island. Felix is a local who shows her a very good time. The only problem, Lucy doesn't know he's her best friend's younger brother. Oh, I think they're the same. They're the same characters in the first one. No. I think they're all different characters. Interesting, okay. Lucy and Felix's chemistry is unreal, but the list of reasons why they need to stay away from each other is long. And they vow to never repeat that electric night. It's easier said than done. Okay, I'm excited to read these. So it's just like such a summer vibe right now. And then I think I'll be done with the summer romances. And I think I'll save Hook, Line, and Sinker for August. And then I just loved Betting on You so much. So I really want to read this badly. Because Lynn Painter just, I love her writing. So this says, their name, the Objectors. Their job to break up weddings is hired. Their dilemma, they just might be in love with each other. Oh, it's so cute. When Sophie Steinbeck finds out just before her nuptials that her fiancé has cheated yet again, that sucks. She desperately wants to call it off, but because her future father-in-law is also her dad's cutthroat boss, she can't be the one to do it. Her savior comes in the form of a professional objector whose purpose is to show up at weddings and proclaim the words no couple usually wants to hear at the ceremony, I object. Okay, this sounds fun. Oh, I love Lynn Painter. And then the next one is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Hastings. And this one says, I'm so excited to read this one. I actually picked this one up originally at Barnes & Noble. And I got it for $17. And I'm like, that is just way too expensive to pay for a paperback. And I'm so glad I found it at the bookstore for $5. And this is in pretty much perfect condition as well. And this says, true love is at stake in this charming debut romantic comedy. Casey Greenberg loves being an artist, but it's a tough way to make a living. On the brink of eviction, she's desperate when she finds a too-good-to-be-true apartment in a beautiful Chicago neighborhood. Cassie knows that there has to be a catch. Only someone with a secret to hide would rent out a room for that price. So the roommate turns out to be the vampire, and she, is wondering why he's always up at night and all of that. And I'm just super excited for this. It just sounds so much fun. And also, like I said, the next one is coming out later this year, so I'd like to read that. And then the next one is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. Again, this book is getting a lot of hype. And I've seen a lot of positive reviews about this, so I'm super excited to read it. This is the Saga of Unfated series, and this one says, A shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. Oh, I can't wait to read this. That's all I'm going to read, but I'm really excited for this one. Obviously, I'm excited for all of these, but yeah. We're getting through a decent amount here. And then the next one is Hello Stranger by Catherine Senner. It's just, her book covers are so freaking adorable. And I've just been wanting to read a couple of her books. I also want to read her new release, The Rom-Commers. Oh, excuse me. I almost picked that up as my add-on for book of the month, but again, I really wanted The Ministry of Time because I've been wanting to read that now for like a couple of months. So this one's, I actually have not even read the synopsis, but I've heard really positive reviews about her books. So this says, love isn't blind, it's just a little blurry. Sadie Montgomery never saw what was coming, literally. One minute she's celebrating the biggest achievement of her life, placing as a finalist in the North American Portrait Society competition. The next she's lying in a hospital bed, diagnosed with a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be something like really sad. I was like, I don't know if I can cry again. She can see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. Imagine trying to read a book upside down in another language. This is Sadie's new reality with every face she sees. Does she meet a man? I'm just wondering if that's what happens, but I figure that's probably what it's about. I mean, it's called Hello Stranger, so yeah, that looks really cute. Or it sounds really cute. And then the next one is Assistant to the Villain. Again, I've seen very mixed reviews about this. Some people really like it. Some people think it's kind of boring, but I still want to read it. So it says, Assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff of random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion is a must. Excellent benefits. So that's all I'm going to read to you guys, but I'm super excited for that. I'm not going to read all the synopses for Magnolia Parks. I'm just going to read like the first two. So the first one is Magnolia Parks is a beautiful, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? Magnolia Parks is a beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite. BJ Ballantyne is Britain's most notorious and photographed bad boy who broke her heart, but these two are meant to be and everyone knows it. Magnolia and BJ are written in the stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep them at bay. He sleeps with other girls to get back at her for it, but at the end of their every sad endeavor to get over one another, it's still each other that they crawl back to. Okay, and then the second one is Daisy Hates, and this one says, all 20-year-old Daisy Hates has ever wanted is a normal life, but that's just not in the cards. Daisy Hates is the princess of the London's most notorious family, raised by her older brother Julian, a London gang lord, after their parents were murdered. Oh my gosh. Their parents were murdered in front of them 12 years ago. Daisy has never lived beyond his watchful gaze. I didn't realize it was that dark. Okay. I'll just read like the first lines of these because this video is not as long as I thought it was going to be. Like, I'm almost done. So the next one is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. These all sound so good. So this one says, I'll wear it like a badge of honor forever that he loved me first. That he loved me at all. I think I actually knew that tagline. So this one says, it's been barely a year since everything happened between Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne on the steps of the Mandarin Hotel Oriental. Oh my god. Since I've been reading more, like, my eyes, like, move faster than my mouth now. So that's why, like, I'm like, like, and then my mouth is like, you need to actually get the words out of your head while you're reading them. And since then, it seems like everything has changed. Magnolia has the life in New York now, and BJ appears to have finally let go and moved on. So, super excited for that. And then the next one is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, and it says, Daisy, it's the great undoing of my heart as I know it. Daisy Hates thought she left everything about her old life in the past, the crime, her family, and the man she loves. But when her safety is threatened, once again, she finds herself back under the watchful eyes of her gang lord brother, Julian, and her ex-boyfriend, Christian, both desperate to keep her safe. Okay, this sounds like a crime, mafia, socialite romance, so I can see why these are so popular. I haven't read any crime, mafia romances yet, so I'm super excited. And then the last one is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. There's supposed to be another 2 books coming out, but this was the latest release, and this came out in February. So this one says, how many loves do you actually get in a lifetime? Everyone knows by now that Magnolia and BJ are in the stars, but is that enough? Reeling from a devastating loss, Magnolia Park's life is once again thrown into disarray. The person who held her entire family together is gone, and suddenly secrets are unraveling and tensions are as high as Magnolia and her fiancé, BJ Valentine, plan what's been dubbed the wedding of the century. I actually got through that one without stumbling. And then I just want to read the synopsis for the Ministry of Time. Because if I don't get to the wishing game, I'm still going to read Ministry of Time. Let's see. Ministry of Time. So this one is by Colleen Bradley. Cannot say her name, but this is her debut novel, so this is her only novel that's out so far. And this one is a time travel romance, a spy thriller, a workplace comedy, and an ingenious exploration of the nature of power and the potential for love to change it all. Welcome to the Ministry of Time, the exhilarating debut novel. In the near future, a civil servant is offered the salary of her dreams and is shortly afterward told what her project she'll be working on. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for her body, but also for the fabric of space-time. She is tasked with working as a bridge, living with, assisting, and monitoring the expat known as 1847 or Commander Graham Corps. Oh my god, this sounds so good. So I'm super excited for that. And then the last one is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. And this one says, years ago, a reclusive Hold on. I don't know if that's in the book or that's talking about the author. But anyway, this says, Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's aide, Lucy is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Well, this sounds really good. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. Okay, this sounds really good. So I think that's it. I think that's my TBR for this month. Again, that's a lot. The only other one I would potentially want to read on Kindle, I also started Elsie Silver's Wild Love. Remember when I said I was going to get to that last month and I didn't? But I did start reading that on my Kindle a couple of days ago. And I also never ended up reading 5 Broken Blades last month, so I probably will read that in August most likely. What was I looking up again? It's already 3:45. I want to sit down and read for the rest of the day. Oh yeah. The thriller I was thinking about reading. So this one is on Kindle for free. And it's called What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Like, if I just need a quick, like, palate cleanser between all of these romances, I am going to read this. And it says, they say every house has its secrets. And the house that Maggie and Nina have shared for so long is no different. Except that these secrets are not buried in the past. Every other night, Maggie and Nina have dinner together. When they are finished, Nina helps Maggie back to her room in the attic, can I speak, and into the heavy chain that keeps her there. Because Maggie has done things to Nina that can't ever be forgiven, and now she is paying the price. But there are many things about the past that Nina doesn't know, and Maggie is going to keep it that way, even if it kills her, because in this house, the truth is more dangerous than lies. Okay. That sounds like really fun and kind of similar to Never Lie by Frida McFadden. So yeah, that is my TBR for this month. I'm just going to fill my shelf and you guys will see what it looks like at the end. So BRB. Okay, so we filled the shelf up here with other books and series that I would like to get to. I definitely want to read the Shatter Me series in August, I only have the first three books right now because I actually found all three of these at my local bookstore for used for $5 each. So I've been kind of going back there here and there to see if I can find the rest of the series for $5. But I'm not going to get to that until August because originally it was going to be Magnolia Parks for my birthday month because my birthday's in August and this is what my treat was going to be to myself to read in August. But since I found these two first, then I wanted to get the other three, and then I'm like, I really want to read these. So I will get to Shatter Me in August, but that is going to be my series for my birthday month. And then I also need to get the rest of the Neon God series by Katie Robert. She's also a pretty popular author now because I've been seeing her books more in Target recently. Not this series, but like her other series. And I also saw that at my local bookstore. They had like the first two books or something that were like $5 each. But I want to start this series at some point. And then I still haven't read Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves and Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So these might all go on my TBR in August. And then I have a few other fantasy books that I would like to get to as well. Then I only have 6 other romance books to read. So honestly, if I get to those next month, then I will have read all of my romance books that I own, which will be great. Except for like a witchy romance that I'm saving for October. I still haven't read the Sarah Hawley books. I just have not gotten to them yet. And I still haven't gotten to Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. I just don't really love her writing. So I don't know when I'm going to get to that. I'll get to it when I feel like it. I also didn't end up reading the Once and Future Witches last month either, but we'll get to that eventually. And also I haven't read Billy Summers by Stephen King yet, and I'm dying to read that. And I just picked up this one today at Target. Everyone is talking about this book. This one is also a new release. I might read this over one of these books here, but honestly I want to read all of these books. But it's called Heavenbreaker by Sarah Wolf. Look at this spine. Isn't this so pretty? I've been eyeing this so much at Target that I finally just decided to pick it up because it's just so beautiful. And also I really want to read this at some point, but it might not be until August. And then I just have the Scarlet Veil, which is also a big romantasy series. Well, it's not that popular, but I also picked that up at my local bookstore. And that was the only book that I paid full price for. It was $20, which I will pay for a hardback. And then I also got Songs of the Silver Flame Like Night at Barnes & Noble last month as well. It wasn't too expensive. It was only $12. But I also have to pick up the second one, Dark Star Burning Ash Falls White. Right? Yes. So August might be a heavy romance month for me, but I definitely want to read Shatter Me in August. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know if any of these books are on your list. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts. No spoilers though. So yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Keep reading. Bye.